Hey guys, just wanted to share with you that my book is finally published and you can find it on Amazon. And today I just wanted to share with you what is the book about. Is it for you to read or would it be a waste of time? And also, why is it so different from all the other books out there about stress management and time management, productivity, effectivity, and all kinds of like that. And before I go into the details about the book, I also want to say that right now it's on a special discount of 70%, which is the best deal that my publisher allowed, and it's only for my subscribers. And you have a link for the book in the description that will take you to Amazon. And let's just dive in. So, what is this? What is this book anyway? It's called How to Achieve Nothing. I know it might sound like the worst idea ever because nobody wants to achieve nothing. Everyone wants to achieve something. And so we live in this achieving, striving, driven culture. And this book, How to Achieve Nothing, the subtitle is three-step time reversing formula to end stress, overwhelm, and the strategizing mania. And this book is only for those who are really serious about their time and purpose in their life, serious enough to just ditch the idea of both completely. It is actually a deep inquiry into time. We're going to look at time as what it really is, a story. And for most people, or a lot of people I work with, and other maybe for you, we feel overwhelmed. We feel like there's always not enough time and too much to do. And even if you know your purpose in life, and even if you think that you're helping so many other people and you're changing the world, there's always times when you feel like you're not doing enough. And so if that sounds like you, or you might just be busy, just constantly busy and overwhelmed, or checking time 100 times a day, and there's always this not enough time kind of feeling, this context where you're coming from, then this book is especially for you. Especially when you are maybe a leader or an entrepreneur, content creator, freelancer, someone who creates something, and really whether it's now or you planning to find this purpose sometime in the future, but already feel overwhelmed because the steps that lead to that future are kind of overwhelming or just not clear, or you don't feel like you keep comparing yourself to other people, or to something else, or maybe the past image of yourself, or even the future image of yourself, in which you should already be finding this full potential. So you're comparing, and it leads to a lot of stress. And so in the very core of this book, there is a formula, this time reversal formula, because we're looking at time as a story. It is always a story about achieving a better experience in the future, a better experience in the not now future. And it comes with stress. And so when you feel stressed or overwhelmed, you can plug in this formula into your situation, and it will reveal to you what is your next step to take in your stressful situation. And it's really not what you think. It's very unexpected. It takes you away from thinking, from when we feel stressed, we are getting into our heads and we're trying to overthink, and we're trying to think and figure it out, and we start strategizing and planning, and that just doesn't get you anywhere. It's just like stressing you out even more. And so with this formula, it will just shows you that what you're really looking for, it's not in the future, but it's already available now. And once you know what it is, then the stress just disappears. And I call it formula. Well, it's I kind of make fun of all these business books about achieving something, and but it's an inquiry. It's a deep inquiry. The same with the time. First, you're going to find out for yourself, because really it's written from a perspective of direct looking and investigating for yourself. There is no research. I'm not telling you anything. I'm not giving you any advice. You really just have to look for yourself. And so I will take you on this journey to investigate about time. You will discover for yourself from your direct experience that it is never a lack of time that you have, that it is never more time that you need. And I know it might sound like completely this crazy idea, Because a lot of people, if not everybody, thinks that if they only had a little bit more time, if you had more time, you would feel more relaxed, you would have time to do all the things that you enjoy, you would finally have the time to spend with your family or loved ones, or finally build your business and finally create these masterpieces and leave a legacy in this world, and you would feel like your life is fulfilled and you can just die fulfilled and be remembered for who you really were with your highest potential. So that's very deceptive. You will discover for yourself that it is never more time that you want, really. And what a relief knowing that. Don't believe anything, by the way, what I'm saying in here, you just need to discover that for yourself. And so then you inquire into time and you discover that it is never, that you can never actually experience time. It is really just a story. Your story. It's a hero's journey. And you will also discover that now is not a moment in time, and can be very unexpected for some people. And then we're gonna dive into purpose, and I will guide you, and you will discover for yourself that purpose, or whatever you think that is, can never actually make you happy or fulfilled. And I know it sounds also crazy, like all of these, it's not ideas, it's really truths that you have to discover for yourself, but they are very counterintuitive, very different to what most people or most books feed us with, finding your purpose and find your full potential. It's just like it's right there. If you only take these steps, you will get there eventually. But let me tell you that I've been working with people who are very successful, and they still don't feel successful. They still don't feel they're doing enough, because it's a trick. You'll never get there. And so we look deeper and deep into this timeline, which is a story in our minds, in our heads. It's a story of you, the hero's journey, story of you that tells you where you're coming from and where you're going and what you have to achieve in the future. And I will show you, this formula will basically show you that story, that timeline is completely deceptive. And when you reverse it, it's comprised, this particular one that we're going to only look into expectations and hopes. When you reverse these expectations and hopes, it will give you exactly what's available right now, and the stress just disappears. And as I said, you cannot do this formula just with your mind and with your thinking. You cannot do it quickly. It's a meditation. It's something that you really, it will guide you to look deeper into what is and recognize or just see the distinction between what you imagine should happen versus what actually is. Reality versus imagination, perhaps I could call it that way. And again, it goes so much against all these it's very counterintuitive, because we are told that there's so many books out there about creating your vision for the future. And there is nothing wrong with that, or setting goals. They're just stakes in your story. So it goes deeper into time as a story. And this book is essentially a combination of business and non-duality. And non-duality, some people call it spirituality. It has nothing really to do with spirituality. I would just call it truth of reality, because non-duality means no two. There is always two sides in a story. There's always good and bad. And it will basically take you beyond stories. It will take you into what already is, that underlying truth. And once you get there, which is really not getting anywhere because you're already there, we just can't see it because we are so obsessed by the story of that there is something for us ahead, something that we need to achieve, and when it comes from stress, it's always deceptive. So a combination of non-duality and business together, which is even that unthinkable. Two things that are complete opposites in a way. One is about achieving and one is about nothing. So that's why I combined it, and it was just so much fun. Just so much stuff came up that were so unexpected, and it was like so fun to write it. And I would be so delighted to hear what is your experience reading this book. You can either leave me the review on Amazon, as I asked you before. You can leave some questions there and I will be responding. Or you can also leave them here in the comments if you want. I would be very happy to respond to those. So if you are sometimes struggling with time and you think there is not enough and you're just chasing, you find yourself that you need to be convincing someone in your head constantly, and perhaps you want to look deeper. And as well, if you are someone who has been on this spiritual or self-development and self-improvement path for some time, then this book is especially for you. It's perhaps not for people who are only starting with perhaps maybe law of attraction or this visualization techniques and tools, because I find that people who have already been on this journey and found out for themselves that it's just not reliable, then they will really appreciate to look for something different, for something that just doesn't make sense to the mind, because there's a difference between fiction and reality, and the difference is that fiction actually have to make sense always, but reality doesn't. So this doesn't need to make sense. It's really about your own direct experience. It's really about your own direct looking and discovering sometimes what makes sense to the mind, to the thoughts, which always think in a story. And every story that we think about, or even stories that we share, we're trying to convince somebody about something that is not true, and that somebody can be even ourselves sometimes. The book is now available on Amazon. You can click on the link below in this video. It will take you there. Please get in touch with me about it. And I have no idea what's going to happen next. Nobody knows, but we'll see. I really appreciate you. Thank you so much. I have this fly because it's already sunset. I think that they just come around this time. I really appreciate you if you were still listening up until now. I really appreciate you if you stayed on my channel up until now through all these changes that I've been through in the past years. And you will read about this journey and these changes in the book, where I speak about my grand failure as a high achiever, as someone who's been always very competitive, because I always came from the place of pain and lack, and what happened after 20 years of full-time self-development and spiritual journey and searching and working with people, what happened when I found the truth about time. It really changed everything. And so this book is about that. And there's not many examples out there of anybody combining this with business. So I'll see. I'll get myself being surprised what people think. But let's see. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next in my next video. Oh, this fly is like right here. Hey buddy, come here. Oh, I guess it's here for the presentation. It probably wants to hear about the book.